Hobby is a hobby is a hobby. You know, it's like collecting rocks. What are you going to do? Buy one and sell one the next day? You know, you collect them to admire them and look at them.
Welcome back, Alf. What's going on, sports card hobby family? It's another day, it's another sports card video. We are reacting today to an excellent video done by Simon466 Cards, Junk Wax Era versus the current, what he calls Junk Slab Era, and many are also calling it this as well. I do agree with him on some parts, but I disagree with them on a few other parts, and we will kind of dive into what all of this is. Huge thanks to today's video sponsor, DC Sports 87. You want to sell on eBay, but you don't want to deal with the hassle of packing and shipping and listing all the stuff? I and many others just send it off to DC Sports 87. They list it up, auction it off. You can see it all happening in real time as auctions end and people pay, etc. One business day to request your payment and they get rolling on it. It's just a very simple process. So check out DC Sports 87. All right, let's start with Simon's channel, Simon466 Cards. Excellent card commentary channel. This is the stuff that I love. I love when people tackle different topics, actually kind of think about things, different types of things, generation to generation, or look at different card sets versus other ones, or sports versus other ones, just analyzing different parts of the hobby and these various card topics. And Simon does such a good job with this on his channel. And this is another one of these episodes that I really enjoy. We're kind of deep diving a little bit, not just the usual surface stuff. I spent $100,000 at a card show yesterday type stuff. You know, actually diving in and talking about some of these topics and really kind of thinking from different angles. So definitely make sure to check out his channel, Simon466 Cards. Subscribe and pay attention because the guy is smart. All right, so let's look at his PowerPoint here. He's got it broken down, Junk Wax Era, and he's looking at cost, which of course has changed dramatically, versus the focus. And I think that's the part that there's kind of a generalization in his video here. And I might have missed where he gets a little bit more nuanced, so apologies if I missed it. But the generalization is where I want to hit on first. And so right here, when he's talking about Junk Wax Era, cost, of course, and he even kind of factors in inflation and everything as well. So good for him. Cost is about $1 to $5 per pack, going back to 87 to 93 is kind of that Junk Wax Era. And the focus being collecting, being more of a focus as opposed to the new wave, what we have now, where he's got more of a focus around kind of making money in cards and profiting and that sort of thing. He's not wrong there, but we have a great time capsule video done by Cardboard Dreams. And of course, I've referenced this video many times. If you don't watch any other card content this week, go and watch this. It's from 1990. It's a perfect time capsule. The guy that did the video, I think he was a senior in college, senior high school, did this documentary, but it's great. He goes around and he interviews card dealers and card buyers and just kind of gets a pulse. So this is kind of one of these original card documentaries. I'll put a link to it in the video description, Cardboard Dreams. And again, it's done in 1990, which is smack right in the middle of the frenzy, the last big boom for sports cards. And really, you could argue the rise of heavy speculation in sports cards and really collectibles as a whole, the 80s, the 1980s and heading into the 1990s. So let's take a look at some comments from that documentary here.
People don't want to lay out $100 for a card. They rather buy a Manly rookie for $30 or $40, knowing that someday that card's going to be a $200 card. They'd rather not buy the card that costs $200 now. They really like that special play, they will. But nobody really wants to come in and spend $200 on a card. Everybody wants to buy the newest stars. They'll spend $50, but on a Manly rookie or a Conseco rookie, cards like that. A lot of people really, the trend is going, they want to buy the packs, the wax packs as they're called, and they want to buy the older ones. That's the hottest thing. People want to buy wax packs like from 84, 85, 86, packs like this, 86 packs. These are worth $5 a pack. Okay? People rather buy this, spend $5 and try to get a Jose Canseco rookie that's worth $70. They'd rather do this than buy a $70 card. Although the odds are you're not going to get it.
Some of the kids are getting, maybe they're too sophisticated to be collectors. Now they want to be investors. They want to come in with 20 bucks and buy 20 cards for $1 a piece and then sell them for $2 a piece, that kind of thing, which is really the wrong approach to a nice hobby. A lot of kids are misdirected today, and that doesn't deter the good collectors, though. You got old guys walking around, gray hair, collecting cards that have been collecting since they were kids. You know, they could show you their Mickey Mantles. They could show you their old, it's a real nice hobby. You don't have to be a millionaire to indulge in it.
Okay, so this shows us that, yes, the primary focus was probably more along the collecting side of just, hey, buying players that you like, buying teams that you like, and buying cool cards that you like. Absolutely. But it does show that this is not a brand new idea that you have speculation investing money. Kind of what a lot of people think this is some brand new thing that happened in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's been put on steroids thanks to a lot of money influx of, stimulus money and that sort of thing, and just added interest. It's the midlife crisis folks like myself, the 35 to 50-year-olds that got back in and are putting a lot of disposable income back into this world. And so, yes, you're seeing a lot higher prices. We have a totally different element now where there's so a pretty heavy gambling element to cards these days. And look, it's just kind of a sign of the times. Look at sports betting. Sports betting has taken off. All the major leagues are behind it. DraftKings is a sponsor, FanDuel is a sponsor, and it's not some underground thing. State by state, they continue to approve these things, and it looks to be more like sports betting is a more common thing. Whereas look, 20, 30 years ago in 1990, when this documentary was made, there was no sports betting. It was kind of like this underground thing. Maybe you did it in Las Vegas or Atlantic City or something where it was legal, but it was a big no-no. It was not something that was embraced at all. And now we are living in a new world where sports betting is a lot more apparent. Another huge difference between the generations, and something you have to ask yourself, if me and many others had the resources in 1990 that young people do now, would that change kind of the way that we operated back then? And my answer to that is yes. I think that if we had the technology, the internet, if we had all these different marketplaces, if you had kind of this inefficient market where you could very easily buy, sell, trade cards, of course you're taking risk, but you're able to actually buy on one platform, sell on another. You can speculate on a player and then it goes up from there. There is way more opportunity to do that. You saw the clip where the dealer is talking about, people are buying $5 packs hoping that they get a Jose Canseco rookie card that they can sell now for $70. But think about where we are now. Compare that, because that was really the baseball market. Now compare it to where we have first Bowman baseball prospecting. You got people collecting Jose Canseco 5 years before he's Jose Canseco. People speculating on prospecting. You've got all these different buying, selling, trading apps. You have all these different card shops, ton of different hits, different insert hits. Everyone's all about, stained glass or kabooms. You've got the one-of-ones. It's just an entirely different world. It's 1990 card market on steroids. And so it's tough to kind of figure out, would we have been the same if we had had those resources? I put my hand up. I think that we would have. I think that more people would have shown interest. More people would have gotten into the business of it. And not even just 10, 11, 12, 15-year-olds, but also adults. There would have been plenty of those dealers that were getting more heavy into it. It was more of a collecting focus, as Simon said. The speculation was more focused around the newer players, which we do see that today, but you also see a heavy market for the vintage stuff. There's a whole high-end market where it's not as if people are ignoring the Willie Mays and the Mantle stuff. It's the opposite. You've really got money going in all of those directions. You've got money going in the new modern, ultra-modern stuff and the new products, and you've got a ton of money that's flowing into the vintage and, the stuff that is considered to be more of a long-term hold. Now, I like this in Simon's video. He adds a little twist here at the end where he is talking about, is it likely that this generation who, a lot of them will lose money on speculation because we just have a ton of spec money in this space right now. And there, of course, we're going to lose money on cards. I've lost money on cards. A lot of people have lost money on cards. I've done really well on others, but I've lost money too. It's kind of a give and take. That's just how it goes. But will this next generation, 20, 30 years, will they get young people involved and so forth? And what I would say is I think the answer is yes to this. Because if we look back too at my generation going back to 1990, we basically have nothing to show for our collections. And I know Simon might say, well, that's because that wasn't really the focus. But I would argue that, yes, I was collecting Saints players and that sort of thing. But I was also collecting like Phil Simms and Joe Montana and Jerry Rice because I thought the cards were really cool, but also with the thought of, hey, maybe someday this could be worth something. That was an aside, that wasn't the primary focus, but if I look back at my old cards and my old collection, I have nothing to show for it from a value standpoint other than just the sentimental value of it. And so it's not as if, this last generation came out on top. And we're sitting here like, yes, everybody get in because, yes, these cards today will be worth something down the road. We didn't have that experience. We basically all lost money on 80s and 90s cards. I think that the market is just a lot more dynamic. I do think that you still have a lot of collectors. And even though, yes, you can't collect sets the same way because of the colors of the rainbow are just endless. Now there's 100 different parallels. People are still able to very easily collect their favorite players. There are way more options for each player. If you look at, let's look at 2023, fourth, fifth year Luka Doncic products. There's a bunch of those out there that you can go, and there's base cards, there's plenty of parallels, and even the parallel rookie cards for Luka Doncic. I'm just using him as an example. One of the better players in the NBA. You can get into his cards for $1 if you want to, or you can buy six-figure cards, so all sorts of different options for people that are collecting. I think a lot of the social media revolves around, the money-making stuff, and, and Simon mentioned this, and I talk a lot about prices as well, but I think that talking about price movement is helpful to all sorts, collectors, speculators, investors, because even if you are a collector and you're not necessarily looking for any sort of long-term value or whatever, you just want those cards, price movement matters to you. Because if price movement is down for a player that you collect, you can buy more cards. Even if you don't care about future value, if you're kind of taking stock on what prices are doing, if they're down, then that's great for you because you can go buy more of that particular player or that set or whatever you're collecting. For speculators, it's important because they're trying to figure out like, okay, what's going on with this and that from a short-term and long-term standpoint. And if you're an investor, you're holding long-term, yeah, you want to take a look and see like what's going on year over year. Is there a card going up? Is it going down? Should I buy more? Should I sell this? The focus around price movement is something we never had, going back to 1990. So the idea that we can, chart those, the graphs and that sort of thing. And even if it's not perfect data, and even if it's not, a perfect science, eBay sold listings, at least you have a more general idea. 30 years ago, you were in the dark, clueless. All you knew what was at your local card shop selling, and hey, dealer, what's stuff selling for? You had very, very little information. Beckett Magazine tried to bridge this gap, but extremely challenging going back, 30, 35 years ago. You're hoping that dealers are giving you accurate information. Some sellers, buyers, sellers, dealers don't want to give you the information. And so price guides, again, they did their best. It was kind of a gauge, but it's not like today. It's not like today where you can actually track real sales and have a very good idea of where value stands at any given point. And so that's why you have more of a focus around price points because you can actually gauge them now. Whereas, again, going back even 10 years ago, it would be challenging to do. So my prediction is that, yes, this generation, there's going to be, of course, a lot of money lost on new QB prospects. There's most certainly a lot more speculation money in the space. I know there's a lot of, kind of investing talk, but it's really, really just heavy speculation. That's really what it is. Investment grade cards, a lot of people can argue this, but, it really boils down to a very small percentage of kind of high-end cards that probably fall into, that big, investor type bucket that a big-time investor would buy into. The rest is mostly speculation. Of course, the majority of the modern and ultra-modern stuff, it's just speculation, but that is a lot of the fun. People enjoy speculating, and that started really, I think, more heavily in the 1980s, not 5 years ago. In the 1980s is when it got supercharged in people buying into rookie cards and really getting into it as the market started to grow. And Beckett Magazine played a big part in that, where people could actually track price points, and we've only just kind of grown from there. So guys, let me know your thoughts comparing two eras. I think it's very interesting. It's fun card commentary. So thank you again to Simon for his video. Excellent work. If you like what you hear there for him, please subscribe to his channel. I think he has about 350 or so subscribers. That guy puts out really good stuff and should have more eyeballs on it. So make sure to take a gander. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.